All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Taiko World Cup 2026. The group stage is continuing off with another exciting matchup. Australia, just after their victory in the tie-breaks, are going to face their other opponent, Colombia. I'm your commentator, Beat43210, and today, joining me in the commentary booth, we have Wubba Wubba and Chiliape. Gentlemen, how we both doing?
Wasn't sure if Hubba was going to go first.
We know.
I thought you were.
Oh, right.
First, that means you go first.
Oh, no, I missed the order. No.
I see.
Right.
I understand it now.
Well, welcome. Welcome, Hubba. Hubba, you're the new one to TWC. What are your thoughts on joining us today? You excited? You ready to go?
Yeah, so I was doing a little bit of taiko grinding towards the end of last year, so I'm still in the low ranks. I'm still not 4-digit yet, but it's a fun time playing taiko, learning these new modes, trying to figure out all the nitty gritty. Of course, being a gimmick player in standard, I'm interested to see what the gimmick looks like here, the different scroll speed reading maps and things like that. Should be a ball.
Ooh, some big SV reading maps yet to be seen in group stage. In the later stages, they'll start to maybe become a little bit more prominent. But we're on the consistency battle here. We've got multiple close-up matches. Not one single sweep to happen the entire weekend. We're basically through the entirety of the Saturday matches, moving on to Sunday here as we get very, very fast bans coming out from our two teams here. Australia, Colombia, 11th seed versus 30th seed. Australia coming hot off of a win in tiebreaker immediately prior to this against the 23rd seeded Netherlands.
Yeah. And we're going immediately into this matchup as Australia bans Nomad 3, Colombia bans Nomad 2. So the speed Nomad map and the technical Nomad map is out, and Gimmick is in. Ladies and gentlemen, Gimmick is on the cards, but it's not going to be first picked by Colombia. Colombia is going to go with Nomad 1 being Babel.
Okay, keeping it easy. Keeping it easy for Colombia here. They're going to go in a little bit slower onto this match. Picking out through the Nomad 1. We're going to bring Australia back down to earth a little bit at the start. You never want to give the higher seeded team the opportunity to sort of display the skill depth on the early picks here. Starting with the Nomad 1's always a good route for them. We have yet to see Colombia's performance in the tournament this year. They've had a bit of a rough go in previous years. I believe their top finishes ever still being in those bottom 8 seeded teams overall. They've got a lot of good showing this year, though. They've got a lot of their top roster in the country over their top players in terms of rankings. They have a strong showing overall. 30th through qualifiers is still nothing to shy away from. You know, they still would have qualified in for the tournament, regardless of whether or not we had group stage. So they're still looking decent here. But Australia, with their traditional performances, definitely a big player overall. Frosthetic in right now, the 3rd best player in all of qualifiers.
Yeah, this is an interesting duo that you see on the Aussie side, right? You have the super veteran in Jay and the new blood in Frosthetic. I believe this is his first year in the TWC, so definitely exciting things to watch. And immediately you're seeing some of these act drops come through. I mean, one drop for Jay, but Para Charlie having a real rough go of it. And from what I saw in previous matches, I saw near quad SSs on this map. I'm not sure if that was achieved on any other map in this pool, but definitely the kind of thing that you don't want to see early from the side of Colombia.
Yeah, and Para Charlie, the player struggling the most in the opening minutes of the song, a full 1.5% behind everybody else who's all chugging along near double S.
Nothing too bad here. Sereda to find that first 100 there down on the bottom right. Still missing one on Jay now, so evening out a little bit. Like you said, that Para Charlie act, though, from the beginning, really going to do some damage here in the early onset. Still no misses, so we're not falling behind too much if we're Colombia, but you're sort of praying for those act drops from Australia here and expecting either Jay, and Frosthetic needs to drop that SS, so maybe on some of these offhand patterns we could see a few act drops, but everyone holding strong, and you can actually see the confidence going up. Para Charlie to bring up the act, but there goes Zaritra on a miss, and that is going to put this map away until we see a serious downturn from Australia.
Yeah, Australia here still looking very confident. It was just that handful, a couple drops from Jay, and now Frosthetic to lose the SS, but that miss from Zura is going to be putting in some serious work here, especially with the final moments of this map winding down. It is some longer chains here, a little bit of added difficulty, some sauce on top of the wound, but Australia looking so confident on this double FC. Just the, are they called 100s down here? I assume still 100s, just a 1-100 difference between both the Australia players.
Down here, is that because we're Australia versus Colombia?
Yeah.
Because it's in the southern hemisphere, bro. Okay. I'll see how it is. All right, you fine folk up there.
The down under misses versus the up above misses?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, obviously, we don't look at the right side of the notes versus the left side of the notes. No, we look up and down.
Why would you, right? Like, why would you?
Of course.
It makes so much sense.
But yeah, it's a really unfortunate miss for Zoretta, who got 101 miss. And it wouldn't have mattered in the end, because Paracharlie did not win on the accuracy battle against Jay. But it would have cancelled out Frosthetic entirely. So yeah, that's the difference of one miss in Taiko, and you can make a lot of scores very close very quickly if combo is not paid attention to.
That big score drop from that miss really throwing off. Even with the hundreds again, the biggest difference there was that struggle right out of the gate from Colombia. They're falling behind 10, 15, 100s right from the onset of the map, especially in a group stage against a team like Australia. You're setting yourself up for failure when you're playing against a team that's as consistent as Australia. You get to these, top 12 seeded teams here, and you're expecting single-digit 100 counts across the board. You're not really going to see a whole lot of struggling here, so you sort of need to match that freak, if you will, when it comes to the hundreds count coming up through here. In Australia, going to be digging straight into the Hard Rock Bull Hard Rock 1 here. A bit of an awkward Hard Rock map in this HR1, actually. Maybe a little bit more lower intensity than usual.
Okay, lower in intensity in terms of reading, yes, but it is the highest accuracy requirement in the pool. The OD does shoot up quite a bit. I believe it's 9.1, somewhere
it's
around
high,
there.
Yeah,
it's very high. It is incredibly high. And also, the patterns are not as straightforward compared to the Hard Rock 2 counterparts, so there's a bit of finger control that you need to make it through. And that's very... Oh, sorry.
It's like, speaking of freak, right? Like, Australia just trying to get into the weeds of it, trying to make this a little bit of a dirty fight with the HR1 pick. They would just, get into some more complex rhythms, which, of course, being the higher seeded team, the more complexity, the better.
Not only that, they're also fresh off a match as well, because they just played against the Netherlands, so they should be still quite well in tune with their timing and the whatnot. Might give them an edge.
Yeah, this will be a strong one for them. I think we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but when you get to these top-seeded teams, this is the type of picking that you'd like to see. These confident right out of the gate. Let's pick the most technically demanding pick in the pool, right? That's really what tends to put the lower seeds out of contention, is picking the technically demanding stuff and being on this Hard Rock with slightly higher SV than usual again. And then, like you said, that really high accuracy requirement is going to be a big deal breaker there. And we're already seeing big struggle from Colombia here, reading this as Paracharlie really not being able to find the patterning here.
No, he fell asleep on the wheel.
Yeah,
yeah, he fell asleep on the wheel, guys. He had a micro sleep. He's back. All right, welcome back. But unfortunately, it has given Australia a huge 80,000 start.
Yeah, and that's going to climb too. Actually, accuracy is not holding strong for Colombia, unfortunately, which is going to put this score towards Australia for just a little bit longer. They are going to be able to slow this down, but you can see the axe fluctuating across the board for both Paracharlie and Madsri as they sort of go up and down here. And there's a couple more hundreds there for Madsri in the slow section here. Same Paracharlie really can't be finding those.
And it's looking pretty clean for Australia so far. Frosthetic, I believe, just on the sole 100. keeping up the solid accuracy through the halfway point. Both have season bound as well. It seems like a little bit of an unfortunate theme for Colombia here. Charlie just finding these really big drops early, and it does find his way back into it towards the tail end. But in Taiko, it's significantly harder to come back, so to speak, with it being so accuracy forward.
Yeah. Australia very comfortably taking this second point, which is a bit unfortunate for Colombia because Charlie actually is playing quite well. He has recovered quite a bit since the opening incident, but what can you do? I mean, when you're up against two opponents who are very formidable at 99.8% or better, you can't compete with that.
Yeah, that's sort of the big kicker here in this match right now is you need to sort of come out of the gate swinging if you're Colombia. You need to take that advantage as early as you possibly can and hold on to it. Because asking for the misses from Australia is a tall order. So if you don't keep up with them right out of the beginning, you're going to fall behind immediately. And Jay and Frostetic doing an amazing job creating that space, keeping the distance between all of these players on the Colombian roster as they move through these picks again. Single-digit 100 count between the two players. This is where the experience comes in. This is where that skill comes in, especially, again, from these new players like Frostetic to TWC, where they're performing so well consistency-wise through qualifiers and now through 2 matches in the group stage. You need to be able to come through this, and Madsri did a good job of holding down and not missing at the beginning, where Charlie was maybe on the wrong keys or something, but the accuracy is not going to cut it.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate situation for Charlie, but that's okay. That's okay. These things happen. It's happened to you, it can happen to someone else.
Oh, it's happened to a many, and it did say wrong position on starting the map. Yeah, the wrong keys strike again. Oh, no.
You have to just wonder about the nerves there, of course, going into such a high seed. I mean, probably the reason for that finger placement, but it's no mod 4 now, and this is a curious pick, right? Especially for Colombia to be going into maybe a little bit gimmick forward here as they hop into some reading difficulty against Australia.
Yeah. With that, no mod 4 getting selected by Colombia. Colombia not really interested in fighting Australia on the mod pools, perhaps maybe for good reason. And they decided to take on Australia in Gimmick, which is an incredibly bold move. But we've seen that sometimes, lower seeds can sometimes out-prepare the higher-seeded teams and snatch a point. It's a common tactic. So I'm very curious to see how Jay and Prosthetic will handle this.
They're kind of, they're, the age-old strategy, right? Like fighting the enemy team on their home field, right? Like their home turf. You kind of just bring it back to them and say, you know what, you're going to pick into the gimmick, the awkward, completely different other side of things now. You've got more of the reading focused SVs here versus that high intensity, or rather lower density but high AC requirement on the hard rock here. So bringing it to the other side of things here, really going to be interested to see if the AC requirement on this helps Colombia out as well as just being able to read through. But there is Madsri on a misread on one of those offhand patterns early.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for Madsri. But Jay and Prosthetic on a double S in the opening section of the song. They are just chewing through this like it is a snack at home.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you're Colombia, you are picking this in the hopes that you could maybe throw Australia off their game. There's a lot of simplicity in this pool, and with the lower SR, of course, also in favor of them. Try to throw them off a little bit reading. It does bring a couple 100s to Prosthetic with those act drops, but it's that break from Madsri that really tells the whole story here. Jay is still on that double S, looking so confident through that section, through all these different scroll speeds. This was what I was excited to see, and Jay is passing the test with flying colors.
Once again, The skill cap prevails, the consistency prevails, and Australia continues to hold. Colombia doing a lot better of a job maintaining that distance on them right now. That unfortunate break from Madsri's gonna put them down until they see something from Australia. Quarter of the way left to go on the map. Prosthetic, the only one to show some breaking, but Madsri goes down again on top of that miss from Zaritra that we saw immediately prior, and unfortunately, that's going to increase by another 20 to 30k there, and Australia looking to once again pull out a break point here. That is a true 3-0 double break point, 1 point for Australia. They can really put this one to match point quickly right now. They are making short work with these scores.
Yeah, a very unfortunate choice by Colombia. They were hoping to catch out Australia in the gimmick, but Australia just said, nope, we got this instead. Jay getting a double S, prosthetic, 6-100 full combo, outperforming both of the Colombian players, who have both picked up very minor misses in that matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly not bad showings from both of the Colombian members. It's just like, it's all about the depth here, right? And Prosthetic J, these are, it's the veteran rookie duo that keeps on delivering for Australia here, looking a bit more dominant now that they're all warmed up post a Netherlands matchup. And it's up to them to find out where to go next, but after seeing that HR1 pan out in such dominant fashion, I would assume it's going to be more of the same, that HR2 still being open as well.
You do have to consider that possibility, right, of being maybe a little bit more fresh coming off of a match before this. You know, you expect the teams to practice the pool in some fashion for a group stage. Coming right off a match where you had to pull out all the stops, basically, because they did go to tiebreaker. They had to exhaust their entire picking strategy throughout the match. They know exactly what they want to go into here and exactly what they are stronger on and what maybe didn't work out so well for them against the Netherlands, and they're going to be able to use all of that against Colombia here to try and get this one done as quick as possible. They're fresh on the morning too. It's, you know, bright and early in Australia. They're fresh awake out of bed. Like, they're... Is it 4 p.m. in Australia right now?
No. It's 12. It's 12.
It's 12. I was going to say, so, I mean, fresh out of bed for most people. I know a lot of people don't get out of bed until like 9 or 10 on a weekend. So
okay.
They're fresh, though.
Chilia. As an Australian that is in this call, I got up at 7 in the morning compared to 10 o'clock like most people on the Sunday. And what did I do with my time? I went to commentate the World Cup at 7 in the morning.
See, you had a reason to get up. You had a reason to get up. If Jay woke up playing this game starting at 7 a.m., you know what? He deserves his max combo. He deserves everything that's coming to him.
Yeah. We just lock in the morning, obviously.
Apparently, big morning too. I wish I get to experience more morning matches.
Yeah. Oh well, this order getting selected. Hard Rock 2, not too much of a surprise. Don't break what's not broken. You know, good shot, continue to shoot. Insert your favorite quote here. As Australia's...
No, you're good. I'm just, you know, this is big for Australia here. This match point right here, this consolidation, this could be everything for them right now just to put this match away. Maybe the first sweep of the weekend if Colombia can't find something here.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Especially with this map in particular. It is another Hard Rock map, but it's very different from the HR1. In the BPM, mostly, you're looking for the density reading, the scroll speed difficulty, far less of an act battle, and more just really testing your raw reading ability on the scroll speed. And already it's an unfortunate pattern bringing it back anew for Paracharlie as the 100s come early and the double S's being held for both the Australian members.
Yeah. What's important about this map as well, there's a fair amount of finishes that you actually need to use both fingers and use both inputs of the same color, because otherwise you won't score the full amount of points. We actually saw this just last map where Jay, despite getting the double S and is a very formidable result, did not score the full 1 million points because he did miss a finisher. So you'll see in some of the finisher-heavy sections in the song, it can result into a lot of points really quickly if you choose to skip them by treating the finisher as a regular note.
This is gonna remain close here, though. Still no breaks on either side. Again, 35K, some of the closer score gaps we've seen here coming in this range, but it once again is going to be those accuracies doing the damage. Para Charlie and Zoritra both sitting at the same accuracy. Para does find an extra 100 there. But you're going up against the double S right now, and this is sink or swim for Australia right now. They require a break or 100 in order to lose this map. They hold all of the tokens, and they need to give them back over. There's the finisher section right there. Didn't see anyone miss anything on it. Both score lines holding strong for Australia. So, Jay, maybe course correcting a little bit here. You're going for that million.
Yeah. Australia looking good to finish the song in dramatic fashion as both players going the max score and a very clean 2.12 million between both of them. And ladies and gentlemen, Australia looking incredibly good at the sweep chances here, which would put them in the winners bracket, by the way, if they beat Colombia.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's a distinction and a half. The first sweep of the weekend, that is quite the elite title to gain.
It's all up to Colombia now. It is their pick. It's all eyes on them to see where they go. They tried the gimmick option with that No Mod 4. Unfortunately, not to prevail in the consistency of No Mod 1 either. Personally, if that is their strategy, I'm looking towards this hidden pool to try and maybe strike some sort of chord.
No.
No?
Jay in particular is a very dominant hidden player. It is his specialty. You don't want Colombia. Yeah, Colombia is too scared to try and challenge Australia in hidden, and it's probably correct advice. That's why you see Colombia, sticking to No Mod 1, sticking to No Mod 4, because give Colombia like a mod battle against Australia, and they don't like their chances. In fact, I probably would expect maybe No Mod 5 or a double time pick. That's probably their most likely choice. But we'll see. No! They just went for it.
Now, I hate to say I told you so to the guy who's actually knowledgeable about Taiko, but I don't know.
I've dropped off, ladies and gentlemen. It's all downhill from here.
Now, would you say this is an advised pick? Is the real question.
So true.
Ooh, big opportunity here. God, I'm just sitting back waiting to see if Colombia can try and make something happen here. I am going to be stunned if this is the first 5-0 of the weekend. We've been doing so much talking about the 5-1 always comes out, right? We've had matchups with this many seeds of difference before, and they've all ended with 1 point at least to the other side. Colombia is really just going up against an Australia going all in right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see how they go. Is this Colombia's last stand, or are they going to put up a fight to avoid the sweep? They've been very unsuccessful in No Mod and in Hard Rock. Perhaps hidden might be the change of pace that they need.
On start.
It does feel like it always comes down to the start, unfortunately. For Zoritra, just a quick 100 drop, but a couple more inbound is a little sketchy, especially with how short every pick in this pool is. Just hovering around that 2-minute range, 2-minute average is scary stuff with how fast these picks are flying by in Australia. Looking so comfy.
I will say Colombia is looking quite good compared to the other matchups that we've seen so far in this match. They are still within 10,000 points. And that's largely off the back of Zetera picking up a few 100s, which have turned into plenty as Zetera gets 15,000 score away from everybody else at the halfway point in the song.
Smallest score gap we've seen in a very long time right now. Still holding strong, pushing towards Australia just a little bit. A couple hundreds here and there. Mudsri doing a great job of holding that SS, matching Jay. Right now, it's once again the accuracy on that second player to be the big difference here. Zaritra falling behind just a little bit, but 20k is completely recoverable. Any breaks here from Australia, all too possible as well in some of these slower sections here. And there goes a double miss from Colombia, though, as I say it. Oh no, Australia is pulling away with this immediately.
Yep. Australia holding through to the start of that Ki time that Colombia failed to hit, and as a result, Colombia has completely collapsed their chances of winning this map. And Australia will be advancing into the top of the group stage for their group and will win 2-0 in overall match count.
That is strong for Australia. An unbelievable finish, and a 5-0 does mean that they are now officially guaranteed the top of their group as well, given that there is no way the Netherlands can make up the remainder of the points on a 5-0 given the loss here. So that is a big dominant finish from them there.
So
a
very good result for Australia. Jay wrapping it up with a double S on Hidden 2, Prosthetic, 2 100s, and getting full combos.
Oh, big done. That's this group basically halfway decided already. There's only one match left to stand here. It'll be Netherlands versus Colombia. Congratulations to Australia for taking a winner's bracket spot, much deserved after the 11th seed from qualifiers and a strong groups performance in both of their matches just this evening. And Colombia now looking to try and fight for a better seed in the lower bracket through their remaining match against the Netherlands. We are not yet done with the group stage. There are still plenty of matches to go. There are a total count of, I believe, 10 matches left still on the Sunday lineup, including one coming up in just 30 minutes from now.
100%. Well played by both of these teams. Of course, if you haven't had the time to do so, go ahead and get your banners, as banners are the primary way that you get the opportunity to support your favorite country in this tournament. So for the low price of $2.50 USD, you can pick a country that you like, and you can have a banner of their country on your profile. And if you go on to see them winning the tournament, you get to keep it for the full year instead of the duration of the entire tournament. So feel free to get one in stores. They just dropped yesterday, and they will probably be around until finals, grand finals, usually around there when they are active. So tasty banners, bye, etc.
Etc. The best shill I've ever heard in my days. Oh, beautiful. Yum,
just fast forward, skippable cutscene. Yep.
Yum banners. We love that.
Banners.
Buy banners, etc. Go next. Thank you. No. Exciting match. Hubba, thank you for joining us for this match. What were your thoughts on your first TWC experience today?
Yeah, this was great. I was keeping track of the last tournament, that 7 Key World Cup. I'll definitely be watching this one with bated breath. Seems like quite a fun time for every World Cup. So, thanks for having me, guys. It was a great time.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Beat, as well, for joining us on this cast today. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're not going to go anywhere. We've got 30 minutes from now. We have New Zealand versus Peru. That will be the final match in this block of matches. We'll go offline after that for the next 11 hours until that 13 UTC block. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We will see you in just 30 minutes from now.
Take care.